Here are my two biggest financial regrets as a 25-year-old living in Chicago.
I bought a pickup truck,
How much was the pickup truck?
like $80,000.
All right, Carter, you got 2587.
Not for long. I make bad financial decisions.
Okay, so today we're going to be taking a look at people going over some bad financial decisions they've made. I always like making these videos because of the amount of different situations and circumstances people have in their lives, and I think we could all learn from it and hopefully avoid these same problems if you see it coming up in your life. We have a ton of examples to go over today, along with comments from you guys from previous videos, so if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's start off with someone you probably wouldn't expect to make these kinds of mistakes.
This is probably the dumbest thing I've ever done financially, like long term. Sam and I used to work on cruise ships. Every week we'd fly somewhere different abroad, not throughout the United States, like abroad. Like you go to China and then you go to Japan and then you go to Sri Lanka and then you go to Alaska, right? You're always going. But we were broke. We would go fly literally with like dollars and like $10 in our account, like dollars. And like we'd be in the airport, like splitting a pretzel, like broke. But we were out making money so we could pay off this debt. And we just got, I think you can get used to anything. So I just think we were used to not
Living on the edge.
Yes, living on the edge.
Living on a prayer, it sounds like.
Basically. And so one time we'd gone to Argentina. So certain countries, when you come in and then exit, you have to pay a fee that's called a reciprocity fee. And the fee was $25 per person. When I tell you we didn't have it, and we were like standing there looking at each other like, do you have it? Because I don't have it.
This is something we've gone over many times, talking about vacations and barely being able to afford it. But if you don't know who this is Jade Warshaw, one of the hosts for the Dave Ramsey Finance Show. I think that this is a good example that everybody makes financial mistakes in their lifetime. It doesn't really matter who you are. I mean, I've told you guys mine before. I racked up over $20,000 worth of student loan debt, and I didn't even get a degree. I dropped out. Overall, I guess I could say that I'm lucky that at least it wasn't six figures, comparing it to a lot of people in college today, but I basically just lit all that money on fire. We also have a comment from you guys that goes well with this. I really enjoyed this one, talking about the last video that I made. People actually being transparent, admitting their financial woes, and especially realizing that they did make a bad decision. In my opinion, it's one of the big positives with social media, even though I know there's a lot of negatives. Life is too short to learn from just your own mistakes, and now with the internet, you could learn from others, even if they're on the other side of the planet. We have a post right here. I'm bored. Tell me the most overhyped thing you ever spent money on and instantly regretted it. I regret everyone's purchase of the Labubus on their behalf, which if you don't know what it is, it's just another little doll. That's the new fad right now, which I mean, if you end up buying one or two of the small ones, I don't think it's going to break the bank. However, there are some of them that I saw that retailed in the hundreds of dollars. And in the same way, Beanie Babies and Funko Pops and all of those kinds of fads just come and go. I feel like Labubus are going to be the same thing. A pair of Christian Louboutins, I don't know how to say that brand, but I do know that they are designer heeled sandals. Returned them next day, was so glad to get my $900 back. Probably my college degree, anything from Starbucks, a wedding, absolute waste of money and sanity. And then right after that, the amount of people saying wedding is so validating because I'm eloping and we're spending the money on a honeymoon increase instead. If you watched any of my wedding debt, that's exactly what I thought. If you did want to spend a whole bunch of money, wouldn't it be better if you just had a crazy honeymoon instead of a one-night party? Used to buy ringtones. Now I don't even answer the phone. Could you even do that on smartphones now? That seems like it was forever ago now. Another person saying big wedding, a fancy car. Learned my lesson. Now I have two vehicles, both fully paid off. Not having a car payment is the best thing ever. Crumble cookie, they aren't fully cooked. DoorDash, we're gonna see that later. $10,000 TV for my husband, but I made sure to get it in the divorce. Now whether you got it or not, if you spend that much money on a TV, I mean, it basically has to be worth significantly less almost immediately. Every single year there's a new model. The technology gets better or cheaper to manufacture, so the prices go down, and you could end up getting massive TVs for way less than $10,000. That seems insane to me. But we also have some comments from you guys. When I asked you what's your worst financial decision you made, I think it was not saving up any money while I lived in Canada. Always spent most of it. Now I'm back in Mexico and it's rough. Another person saying a new car all the way back in 2007, Mitsubishi Eclipse. Rollover from my 2003 Eclipse, $8,000 plus a $25,000 loan. About $40,000 in total minus maintenance. Hands down, the dumbest thing you could buy are cars or worthless degrees. Student loans, not having an emergency fund. My Bathing Ape shark hoodies, got all three of them and spent around $1,600. The Hypebeast days were some crazy times. Another person saying student loans, I mean, I was in the same boat. Very happy to be able to pay that off, but we'll head over to the next example.
The height of my debt started after I received a big pay jump when I left my old company, my old job working for McDonald's, to my now nameless company that I work for. I went from $12 an hour to $15 an hour, and I know $15 an hour does not sound like anything, but back where I was coming from, I suddenly had felt like I had made it. I felt like I could finally do all the things that I wanted to do. I started taking Uber instead of public transportation. I started ordering food out instead of cooking all the time. I started going to Starbucks instead of getting free coffee from work. I purchased a lot of things or did a lot of things that previously I would not be able to do, like getting my lashes, nails, facials, eyebrows, a ton of beauty things that I just wasn't able to do before. So my advice to you is if you do get a raise or a new job with better pay, only put a small portion to all those fun things you want to do. The majority should be you increasing your saving and investing. Trust me, lifestyle creep will get you, and down the road you are going to regret it.
Now, I know right off the bat there's going to be a lot of people talking about the $12 to $15 increase not being that significant, but this example is very relatable to so many people. Whether it is a new job and you get a significant pay jump and you start spending money on things that you probably shouldn't, or other examples we've seen of people in the process of getting a degree which should land them a pretty decent paying job. However, they start living as if they already landed the gig. They don't end up getting a job right out of college. It takes a while, or maybe they're getting paid way less than they thought, and that's how you get 5 or 6 figures worth of credit card debt racked up when you're just starting your adult life. The lifestyle creep can really destroy people.
What's the stupidest thing you've ever bought?
10, 12 years ago, I went to Vegas with me and like 10 of my buddies, and they convinced me to get this table at this big nightclub. And you know me, I don't even like go to nightclubs and do that kind of stuff, but I'm like, okay, we'll go. And I'm like, but we're gonna split it. Yeah, we're all gonna split it. Well, we get there, guess who ends up paying for it? Yeah, Minor. A couple of them try to use their cards, they decline. They're like, I don't have the money. A couple other guys disappear when the guy comes with the bill. So I'm left with this bill, and it's supposed to be like a $6,000 or $7,000 or $8,000 table, and it ended up being like 19 grand. And I'm like, mother effer. Don't cuss, kids. But that was probably the stupidest thing that I ever spent money on. 19 grand for a table for all my buddies who got wasted, and I'm the like sober guy, and none of them paid me back. If you're watching, friends, I'm still upset about that.
I mean, right off the bat, that could be something that could ruin lifetime friendships. Basically sticking your friend over $20,000. You're talking about a price of a car at that point. But this is creeping into being convinced or persuaded to do things or spend money by others. He clearly didn't want to spend the money for a table at a nightclub. Absolutely complete waste of money. But you know, oh, well, I'll split it. It won't be that expensive. And at the end of the day, he gets screwed for 5 figures. I almost hope that this was a fake story just to get views for TikTok, because that is insane to me. But we could head over to another example that I think is very similar in the realm of being persuaded by others and keeping up with the Joneses.
If you cut your own grass, you're basically announcing to the whole neighborhood that you're broke. Nothing screams I can't afford $35 more than a shirtless guy breaking a sweat in his own driveway. It's gonna be 95 degrees outside, and you're telling me that you want to cut your own grass? You're not even saving actual money. And it's probably going to be looking worse than if someone else did it for you. And I'm someone that like takes pride in how nice their lawn looks. I care so much, in fact, that I don't make it look bad by myself doing it, and I pay someone who's a professional to make it look amazing, and it only costs me $35.
Before I say anything, we can look at a couple of the comments. Paying for someone else to do it screams, I'm too lazy to take care of my own yard. Says the guy who has a yard that it only costs $35 to cut. That's what I was thinking. I'm pretty sure it's more expensive than $35. This is in the similar vein of the possible lifestyle creep. Oh, I'm too good to cut my own grass. If you do that, you're broke. I'm above that that now. And then it goes into, I'm not going to cook my own food anymore. That's for broke people. I'm just going to order off a DoorDash. I'm not going to clean my own house anymore. That's for broke people. I'm going to hire a maid service. And all of those prices every week, every month really start to add up. And then before you know it, maybe there's an issue with your job. You end up getting laid off, making significantly less money, and then you can't really afford the mortgage and the $1,200 car payment on the Ram 3500 you don't really use. And before you know it, your life is completely upside down. Now, I know that's a pretty extreme example, but it just seems like a stepping stone to me. Picture perfect example of keeping up with the Joneses. I don't want other people to think I'm broke if I'm cutting my own lawn. I mean, just absolutely ridiculous to me. We have a comment from you guys. My worst financial decision last year was loaning my cousin $10,000 to flip a house. Little did I know that I was taking all the risk, and if she made money, she'd keep it. Well, she lost it all because it wasn't her money to begin with. And the worst part is we don't talk anymore. I attempted to go after my money, but not only was it not there, she started talking a bunch of crap with our families, making me look like the bad guy. So we've seen a couple examples of people loaning money to their family members or maybe getting into business, and it really seems to go south a lot of the time. I personally would just stay away from it altogether. I mean, losing $10,000 and then also looking like the bad guy can't really get worse than that. But yeah, in my opinion, just something I would completely avoid altogether.
Here are my two biggest financial regrets as a 25-year-old living in Chicago. So my first biggest regret is spending too much on rent. I recently signed a lease for a $2,500 a month apartment, but it's never just $2,500 a month. You have to factor in utilities, application, admin fees, and move-out costs. All in all, this is going to be around $2,700 a month over a 14-month period. I feel like I would have been better, spending somewhere around $2,000 a month and saving that money and investing into the stock market, which is going to lead right into my next biggest financial regret, which is not investing early enough. I started investing consistently around 23 years old, and I really just started getting into it over the last few months. I invested a little bit when I was 19 or 20 years old. I invested like $3,000 into a Robinhood account. I checked it a few weeks ago and it had doubled. It was like $6,000. A big part of that is because I got lucky and I put a lot into NVIDIA, but I believe this just showed me how powerful investing really is and how much this can compound. Don't get me wrong, it was like a 5 or 6 year period, but still, this is a long game. It's not a short game.
So of course, a very common one, spending a lot more on rent or your mortgage than you would initially thought because it's $2,000 or $2,500 a month. Then all the extra bills, the utility, the internet gets added on. If you own the home and something breaks, you have to fix it, costing even more. And the other one, not investing earlier, even though the top comment goes along with this, starting at 23 is still great compared to the vast majority of people. I just don't want people to think that they're investing when really in the end they're gambling, because over the past few years people have made insane amounts of money off of options trading, the short squeeze with GameStop and AMC, random meme coins that 1000x and then instantly get rug pulled. I mean, we have one up on screen right now. I'm done trading. I swear it's rigged. With only $2,500 losing over $108,000. So that's basically a guarantee that this person was option trading and had no idea what they're doing, and that's how 6 figures vanishes from your bank account.
ATM. By the way, Drake, how much was the Drake tickets for
God.
you? Just for you.
So that's a story, but it was like $650.
Kill me. So over $1,000 for this lovely Drake.
But when I literally got to the front, my ticket said voided. I died, literally. And they made me go to the box office and they were like, oh, we're sold out. Basically cried. And then the manager was like $332 for 2 tickets. So that's what I bought it for. I got my refund from Ticketmaster.
My life is about to be void going through this statement.
But the merch, I spent a lot of.
Oh yeah, because that's coming up great. So we're spending more than $1,000 for Drake when we barely.
So a very interesting story that took a couple turns. It looked like she almost got scammed from Ticketmaster even though she spent $1,200 on Drake tickets. Somehow ended up still going for $330, but then bringing that price right back up with the merch. I mean, I made a dedicated video on my second channel talking about modern activities that just aren't worth it anymore because of how expensive they've gotten. I don't even know what the price range would be for merchandise at a Drake concert, but it's very common to go to a concert and see a hoodie that's $80, $85, and it's just basically a Hanes cotton hoodie. And on top of it, her being on the financial audit means that she did not have a lot of money to pay for it in the first place.
They offered me a $2,000
So we'll look at the comments real quick. Who keeps offering bro loans? Bro's credit score, I don't even want to know. No matter how down you are in life, you can rest days knowing that there are people like this guy who have it far worse. How does bro keep getting approved for loans and credit cards, but I can't? The crazy part, when he bought an Apple iPad for $500 and resold it for $200. So this is somebody that films their daily life, and a good amount of it revolves around making pretty bad financial decisions. I know that gambling is a big problem with him as well. Taking out the loans constantly, crazy interest rates making it way worse. Spending money on Pokemon, hopefully that meant it was able to be resold. But with the comments of him selling an Apple iPad for a $300 loss, that doesn't give me too much faith. Overall, to me, pretty rough to watch. But this next example I've seen once in a while pop up on my For You page talking about money, and although I understand what he's trying to say, people take it to the extreme.
It's extremely unhealthy to try to save money all the time. It's a privileged assumption to believe that you're going to live to be 65 or 70 years old and potentially reap the benefits of saving $3 or $4 a day on a cup of coffee. Reality is, when you're putting yourself in a financial stress situation that is unwarranted, or making decisions every single day based on frugality and how much you can save, you're unironically lowering your life expectancy because of the damage that you're doing to your mental health every second of every day.
So I mean, I get it. You saving the couple dollars from Starbucks coffee or whatever is clearly not going to make you a millionaire, but the top comment is a perfect example of swinging to the other side of the pendulum. Me trying to justify buying Chipotle the 5th time this week with 118,000 likes on just that comment. We've gone over other posts, the same thing. You don't know how long you're gonna live, enjoy life right now. And the top comment is me trying to convince myself to buy a 911 GT3 RS. And I get it, penny pinching your entire life would be pretty miserable, but I would say odds are you're going to live a lot longer than you think. So you spending every single dollar that you make on instant gratification and putting absolutely nothing towards your future is just going to make the rest of your life awful. There's a happy balance between the extreme frugality and spending money on every single thing you see, but honestly, most people do not find that happy medium. I mean, we have a perfect example right here.
My name's Caroline. I think I'm going to spend $7. My name's Caroline. I spent $645.
My name's Bella, and I think I'm going to spend $27 on the beach.
My name's Bella, and I spent $452.
That's good.
My name is Sarah Elizabeth, and I think I'm going to spend $7.37 out here at the beach.
My name is Sarah Elizabeth, and I spent $917 at the beach.
Including 2 card declines on my end. That was the description of this video. So this is an entire trend on TikTok, just spending way more than you initially said, and adds into the previous clip, just taking it to the extreme.
Today I'm graduating with a degree in comparative literature and society. The comparative literature department at Columbia is cool because it asks you to choose a couple languages and build this sort of hodgepodge degree of your interests.
What kind of job can you get in this field?
People go to med school, people go to law school, a lot of people go to any amount of graduate school, and then I feel like a lot of people also end up in corporate spaces as well, but that's just because we're in New York, it happens.
What do you specifically want to get into?
I don't know.
Are you going to continue education, or this is it?
Yeah, I'll definitely continue my education. I definitely have plans to go to grad school, so we'll see.
Next year, he'll be complaining about student loans, large coffee please, put the fries in the bag. Undergrad tuition at Columbia is $68,000 per year. That same comparative literature degree at City University, New York is $7,000 per year. What kind of job? Grad school, future barista? So Columbia failed him, did absolutely nothing to prepare him to be self-sufficient, but at the same time, he still did pick it himself. I know these colleges have some absolutely wild degrees, but if 0 people ended up picking them, they wouldn't offer them anymore. So it just looks like he's going to keep going through schools, get all these certificates, degrees that he can, racking up an insane amount of student debt, and will be extremely difficult to find some sort of job that will pay off the insane amount of debt he's got in, let alone just living in New York City. I'm just glad I am not in that situation. So this guy just ends up walking around to people on the streets, asking them their bad financial decisions. Of course, opening up a bunch of credit cards when you just technically became an adult is almost always a recipe for disaster. Then getting $20,000 from a lawsuit and then instantly blowing all the money because it was free in his mind. And you know it had to be in this video, the last one, talking about cars. Don't ever buy a BMW, breaking down all the time, spending a ton just to keep it going. There's basically an unlimited amount of examples with similar stories.
What's the worst investment decision you've ever made?
Buying a race car.
What was the race car?
Subaru STI. She was great.
Yeah, until she wasn't.
Until she was.
How much do you think you spent?
$30,000 to buy it, and then 10 grand to repair the engine after it exploded. And then for the year that I had it, it was about 50 grand.
Was it at least fun for a period of time?
It was the best year of my life until the engine exploded.
Why would you buy a race car in New York?
Because I was 25.
An STI is not a race car. It's just an unreliable street car with a wing. Is the race car in the room with us? That was basically all the comments. I initially thought he bought the WRX to gut it and have an actual race car, but this is just another one of the stories of being a younger guy, wanting a cool car, having an engine blow as well, losing another 10 grand and it just not being worth it in the end. I'll try to speed run through all of the examples that I have. Here's one right here of a $1,164 a month Dodge that is 96 months, by the way, 28% interest for this Ram 1500. I mean, I hope that this is a joke. Almost 30% interest rate. That is literally as bad as a credit card. Help a girl out. My AC went out on my 2020 Cayenne. My extended warranty got denied at one dealership. Another problem we've seen very often on this channel recently. People buying the extended warranties and then dealerships trying to wiggle their way out of it. It's $9,000 to fix it and I need brakes soon. Might try another dealership but don't want to waste another $400 if I get denied. Do I just trade it in? I owe $28,000. Do I start over? I love mine so much because of the black interior and red seat belts. Is that the reason why you bought this? Then we could take a look at the comments and what people thought of this, and that's why we don't buy cars we can't afford to maintain. The fiscal consequences of my perceived status in society. If you want a Porsche, you gotta pay Porsche prices. This is a snowball of a bad financial situation. Get out of it, sink the cost, and drive away in a Corolla Cross. Another one she doesn't know, but 4 months later, she's gonna realize that buying that car at almost 15% interest rate was her biggest financial mistake. All for a Hyundai as well.
Yesterday, I had a lady come in who was looking to trade out of her cash car and into a Hyundai Tucson. She told me that she needed every single option in the car, so that means she has to be in a Tucson Limited. I pull up a Tucson Limited, she takes it for a test drive, she absolutely loves it. Next step from here is just an information application so I can get her approved. She goes on to tell me that her total monthly income is $1,700. And yes, I did not stutter, $1,700. Keep in mind, she came into the dealership with 2 kids. She might have more kids than that. Now, I will never knock somebody based off of their income because it's none of my business whatsoever, but all I could do is salute her. I have no idea how she's able to survive off of $1,700 a month with 2 kids and all the other bills that she has to handle. Nevertheless, I got her approved. Her payment came out to $508 on the car that she wanted, but I told her there was other cheaper options that were less loaded that would save her money monthly. She said she didn't want those. Now, given that she had her cash car for 10 years, she forgot that she needed full coverage on the new car. She ended up just using the quote finder in my bio. She secured insurance for like $200 a month. So $200 a month for car insurance plus $508 for the actual car note. We're at $708 a month. That's a little bit less than half of her total monthly income.
So the comment section thought 2 different things might have been happening here. Child support, food stamps, government subsidies, she's working the system, $1,700 of documented income, said that a couple times. My car is $650 and $150 insurance. It's too much in my opinion and I make $4,000 a month. That's crazy, the repo man is coming soon. How do they even get approved? Another person saying child support. So either there's extra money coming in that's undocumented, maybe under the table, or this is going to be a future case for my repossession videos. But here we have the last example of the vehicle nightmares.
I bought a pickup truck.
How much was the pickup truck?
Like $80,000. It was used, $80,000. And my plan was also to put it on Turo, right? So other people can use it as well. And then
Heard about this scheme before.
And then I had friends that were like, no, let me just lease it from you. And then I've gotten over. And who pays for the truck?
Okay, so there's a couple things there. An $80,000 used pickup truck that she wanted to put on Turo. My only guess is that a pickup truck being worth putting on Turo would be like the Ram TRX or maybe like a Ford Raptor or Raptor R, because along with the used price tag of $80,000, it has to be one of those really expensive trucks, which we've already gone over. A lot of the Turo businesses are doing very poorly right now. So buying a vehicle just to kind of flip it and put it on Turo to make money is becoming increasingly more difficult. And then to add on top of it, her friend said that they would just lease it and they could use the fun truck, and then they never ended up paying. So she just gets completely screwed. But we could head over to different examples with a comment from one of you guys. Spending 20% of their yearly pay on DoorDash should be considered legally insane. That was talking about a clip that we previously watched, but I have that one beat.
Same guy who spends $100K a year on DoorDash. I spent $84K 1 year on delivery, and that's justified with how many hours I put into streaming.
So I know that this is a little bit different because this is one of the streamers that makes a whole ton of money. A lot of people watch him. He's streaming every single day, but over $80,000 a year on DoorDash. Some of the comments too, $40 per meal 4 times a day for 365 days is only $58,000. And there was a reply, then that wasn't the price then, was it? So it was even more every single time he ordered DoorDash. That sounds insane. You could hire a chef for $84,000 a year. Another person just get a chef at that point. So this is clearly a pretty extreme example, but goes back to the clip where the guy didn't want to cut his own grass. You know, I'm above that. I could just pay for the convenience. Same thing could happen with maid services and food like DoorDash. And I mean, if you truly have that kind of money, then that's fine. You could spend it how you like. But there's a lot of people who are overreaching just for those same conveniences, and you could end up putting yourself in a very bad situation. I mean, this next one is a joke, but is in the same realm of the DoorDash buy now, pay later, especially when we're talking about food now.
Brandon, buddy, this guy just financed his one birria taco. Brandon, what'd you put down?
$0.
Brandon, how many months are you financing this taco for?
220.
And what's your monthly payment, Brandon?
18.5 cents.
Do we got a happy customer here?
Yes, sir.
Some of the comments, $40 taco goes crazy. I'd probably get a repoed. Another person talking about $40 for that taco. Even though this was just made to be funny, you can now Klarna and Afterpay DoorDash orders. So we are starting to get into that point now where you're paying extra money for the convenience of not going out and getting fast food. And then people are putting their tacos or burritos, burgers, whatever they're getting on installment payments. It's just crazy times.
What is your biggest financial regret?
I think when I was younger, not buying a flat that at the time seemed really expensive. I think it was £64,000. I'm old, obviously, and now they're worth sort of 1.8 million. So I should have been bolder, tried a bit harder, and I would have reap the benefits.
So I wanted to put this in because of the modern state of housing prices all over the world now. $64,000 jump to $1.8 million is ridiculous profit. It's more sad that a $64,000 flat can be $1.8 million in what likely is just a few decades. Wages have not seen growth like that. But there are so many people just completely priced out of owning a home, owning a flat, a condo, really anything. They're just stuck renting because of these insane price jumps we've seen over the past few decades. But we're going to finish off this video with kind of an update that we've talked about a while ago. It was in the news all over social media, the Chase Bank glitch.
Remember the Chase Infinite Money glitch last year, where people were depositing fake checks for tens of thousands of dollars and then immediately withdrawing the money before it clears? Well, Chase has just started suing those customers. Since October, the bank sent out over 1,000 demand letters asking for repayment. I'm surprised, but also at the same time not surprised that there's so many people doing dumb stuff like this. One person took it as far as stealing $82,500. I don't know what makes them think that they could get away with this, because this is practically robbing a bank. Look, I get it. It's tough times and we all could use a little bit of extra cash, but don't go robbing a bank and start bragging about it online.
The fact that they called it a glitch when it was just fraud. But in the same way we've seen people in credit card debt start getting sued by the lending companies, the same thing's going out with the Chase Bank glitch. I really don't think I have to tell you guys not to do this, but that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.